You have all the right to bring.
Um,
Uh, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Stat Junkies podcast. It's the one and only stat guru, Marcus Roberts, joined by Mike Roberts, and on the phone with us today is the one and only Coach Kai.
what up? What up?
How you feeling, Kai? How you feeling?
Man, we chilling. We getting ready for opening day tomorrow, man.
That's right. You see, I got the bat today. It's that time.
What storylines are you guys most excited to see unfold as the season starts up right now?
I mean,
What's catching your eye?
I'll go first. This one, like I've said multiple times, my wife is a huge Reds fan, so I'm very excited to see if she's gonna have something to cheer about this year because they got a pretty good squad coming up. I mean, they got Matt McLean back. They made some big signings as far as pitchers by getting Brady Singer. Nick Lodolo's on his way back. So I think they got a nice little squad. They cleared up some cap space by trading Jonathan India. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do, if they're gonna take over the NL Central or not.
Kai, what storyline are you waiting to see unfold?
You know, it might be a little cliche, but I want to see how the Dodgers situation unfolds. Clear favorites going into the season. I want to see Roque Sasaki, see what he has. I want to see Shohei back on the mound. That's going to be a great sight to see for baseball.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I am excited to see Shohei back on the mound.
So, Shohei's getting back on the mound?
Mm-hmm.
Shohei is getting back on the mound this season, so I just want to see how they handle being the clear favorite going into the season.
You know what? I can actually get behind that on wondering what the Dodgers are gonna do because they did acquire so much star power, young talent, experienced talent. Can they all mesh together like they did last year? Because they did pretty well. I mean, they didn't win it all.
They won it all, so
so they did pretty well. But can they continue to mesh well and get it going? Because that is a lot of different personalities, just a lot of different going on there.
I mean, yeah, and plus it's hard to repeat. I was like, in any sport, it doesn't matter, football, baseball, basketball, it's hard to repeat.
You're not wrong there.
And plus, I want to see, too, the Mets were in the World Series, made a huge signing, as everyone knows, by getting Juan Soto. So I want to see how big of a difference does Juan Soto make to that already pretty decent lineup for the New York Mets. So I'm excited to see what they do, too.
Appreciate it, Kayla. We worked hard on trying to get the sound right and everything.
Appreciate it. But, yeah, so I'm excited to see what they do. Of course, as you can see, I got the hat on. I want to see what the Guardians do. You know, we're getting Shane Bieber back. So that's going to help shore up our pitching rotation. So I'm excited to see what they do. So I'm excited. I'm just ready for baseball. I'll be honest. I'm just ready for baseball to get started.
I mean, I think a lot of people can now say they're ready for baseball to get started because with all the changes and everything happening, I know I will be actually attempting to watch the sport more this year instead of just following the stat lines with all the game being sped up and everything. Maybe we can all get together and make a little Stat Junkies trip to a little Cincinnati Reds Guardians game. Not Indians, my bad. They play each other, right? I'm not.
Yeah, they play the Ohio Cup twice every year. They play.
You feel me? Maybe this year we can get a little
I'm more of a Pirates guy, but I mean, I guess that works.
I mean, I was just going Cincinnati because I know both of you girls like Cincy.
They do. They are Reds fans, but
and I don't know if the Pirates play Cincy.
They do. They're in the same division.
Well, then I wouldn't mind going to PNC Stadium. I've never been, but I heard it's fantastic.
PNC is beautiful. That's my favorite park.
That's my favorite park too. I go there twice as much as I go to the Guardians.
Yeah, progressive.
And going to Pittsburgh. You see, we got the helmet already out. We rep Pittsburgh here, so I mean, I wouldn't be mad.
This is off topic, but a quick gripe I want to make. I want to go back to when MLB stadiums had original names, like Jacobs Field or Camden Yards and stuff like that. I'm sick that all these corporations paid for these sponsorships, so now it's like Minute Maid Park or something like that. So you don't like
O'Shea? What's the Mets one?
It was O'Shea Stadium. It was. It's not anymore. It's Citi Field.
Citi Field
for Citibank. Yeah.
Okay. What are the remaining? I guess.
I think Camden Yards is still original. I think Comerica. I can't remember. I think Detroit changed theirs too, but it was Comerica Park.
Okay, and what was the first team plays at the first park? You said.
Oh, the Camden Yards. That's the Orioles. That's Baltimore.
Okay. Is Wrigley Field original? Or
Wrigley, of course, you have like the historic ones like Wrigley Field, Fenway Park is still, and New Yankee Stadium that hasn't been changed. And those three will never be changed because of the history. But I just wish that they would all go back to coming up with their original names instead of just a corporation buying a sponsorship.
How do you feel about it, Kai? You're a big baseball guy.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I guess I understand it for the corporation aspect.
I mean, of course, yeah. It's all about the dollar.
Yeah, I don't agree with it, though. Takes the creative aspect out of the game.
Right. It was like a I don't know, I can't even think of the word for it, but it was like a special part of baseball when you could say, I went to Fenway Park or like go to the different cool names to the stadiums.
Because it made it feel like that little classic homemade feel to it. Like this is maybe like the town or something actually worked to come up with this name instead of, all right, like you said, the big corporation bought it out, said, all right, this is what we're doing, no say, no vote, no nothing, this is it. Because Wrigley Field and stuff like that, I assume, was probably put up there and back in the day, and a lot of people said, yeah, we go over that.
Yeah, blah. Yeah, everyone knows Wrigley Stadium. Everyone knows Fenway Park. But yeah, that's just my quick little gripe. I'm off it now. But I just had to make that point that I wish they would go back to that.
I mean, I'm not wrong. I'll say, for me, I'm just interested to see, one, what Boston's gonna do with Gordon and Devers, how that's gonna play out there.
Bergman? You mean Bregman?
Bregman, yeah.
Alex Bregman?
I knew I was getting one of the Alexes going. I knew I was gonna get it mixed up.
Yeah, Alex Gordon. I'm pretty sure he's retired. And I was like, Ty, you can back me up on that, but I'm pretty sure he's retired.
I'm pretty sure he's
I
retired.
think it's because I just played with him in the show.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Alex Gordon has been retired for a minute.
And I have my team dressed after Boston, so it just.
Yeah, he was kind of tough when he played.
Was
though,
tough.
Don't lie.
Yeah, he played. He was the left fielder for the Royals. He was when they went to that World Series.
Hey, by the way, if y'all ever want to catch the wreck in the show, you can feel free to
Hit
come
us
play
up.
any of the Stat Junkies.
Hit us up.
You can get your squad together. We can run it in threes. We can run it in twos.
I'll drop the PSN right now.
We can drop one-on-ones. You already know we do a game stream. We haven't done it in a while. We will get back to it. We just been busy trying to get everything else set up. As you saw, we've been making changes. So, if you want to come catch that wreck in any of the games, honestly,
yeah,
feel free. Hit us up. We'll gladly put B to A real quick and put it online so everybody can see it too. Also,
catch the receipts.
Quick announcement. I do want to say we will be coming out with a special for the draft. And also, Michael will not be a part of this one just because he's not big in boxing, so I understand. But we will be doing a boxing special for May 2nd for the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Rolly pay-per-view card.
Oh, yeah, see, even if it's May 2nd, I won't even be here. I'll be in it. I have a tournament I'll be at.
Yeah, it's weekend dates. So I already knew you weren't. After
so
I saw your May schedule, I knew you weren't available.
I would say, yep. My son's got a tournament, so I won't even be around.
And I assume Coach Kai ain't gonna be available either, because that's prime time for.
I'm sure he's
baseball.
got a tournament going on.
Yeah, my team starts up soon too.
Yep, I was like, I'm sure he's got a tournament.
But we do got 2 specials that we will be coming out with, and I do want to say we will start having guest speakers, guest appearances on the pod. We did go out and get more mics, as you see. I'm rocking a new one. So just bear with us. We got big things coming.
Our first one is Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is our first guest speaker. Make it happen.
I was thinking more like OJ.
Nah, yeah, make it happen. I'm down. Make it happen.
Maybe Justin Tucker and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I might. We'll have 2 masseuses on deck too, just in case they need it. If we have OJ, I might send my wife out of the house.
It's probably for the best.
Should probably send your wife out the house with Watson and Tucker.
Yeah, I'd probably send her out the house too. For
that's probably true too.
Yeah, that's fair too. I should probably. Yeah, any of those guests, they gotta go. She gotta go.
But we do have big things coming, so bear with us. Other than that, I do have one more topic before we dive into March Madness, because this whole podcast is basically March Madness, because there's so much going on, men's and women's.
There ain't nothing else happening in the world.
And we didn't get to cover the women's last time either, so we definitely got to dive into it. But also, I got to get your guys' opinion on the whole podcast beef between retired basketball players we got going on. You got Brandon Jennings calling out Lou Williams, who actually has his own podcast too.
I knew that, yeah.
And also called out Jeff Teague, Ty Lawson, basically called out the 09 draft and said he's the best guard.
I'm going to pull up. Kai, give your thing first. I'm going to pull up the 09 draft.
Hey, that's the draft. That Steph Curry was in that draft.
Oh, yeah, Curry's in that draft. Yeah, that's right.
Harden was in that draft.
Brandon Jennings, sit down.
Wait, yeah, repeat that.
I'm like, Brandon Jennings, sit down.
I don't think he might not have said that I know he did not come at Steph and James because he understands.
He knows better.
He understands, but he did come at Teague, Lou, Ty Lawson.
All right, so I got the draft pulled up right here. So they got Blake Griffin, Tyreek Evans, James Harden, Ricky Rubio, Johnny Flynn, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Jennings.
DeMar was in that?
Yeah, Brandon Jennings, I'm sleep, bro. I'm sleep. Jeff Teague, Eric Maynor, Darren Collison was in that draft.
Oh, that's a good one right there too.
Yeah, I was like, those are the big names that everybody knows. Yeah,
his beef with Lou Williams.
Drew Holiday was in that draft. Like, come on now.
His beef with Lou Williams and Ty Lawson go back to him saying that he was the best guard to come out of Oak Hill Academy. That's a high school we went to, right, Mike?
Yeah, now don't get me wrong. Brandon Jennings as a high school hooper, if you go back and watch his tapes, that man was cold. Like, as a high school hooper, I give it to him. If they're talking straight high school, Brandon Jennings is the best. I'll give it to him.
Cold.
But we got to incorporate, because all these guys played in the NBA. You got to incorporate the NBA too, and that's where it gets shaky for Brandon Jennings.
Are you guys? All right, I guess I'll start with Kai first. Are you giving Brandon Jennings the leg over Jeff Teague? We'll start with Teague first.
Teague, no.
I think Teague's actually 41 on the Hawks all-time scoring list.
That's what I'm saying. No, Teague.
I think he's got like 7,000.
Listen, people don't realize that Teague was actually a hooper. Like, I'm
He
old
was
enough
cold.
to see Teague in college, and then his young years into the NBA. He was good.
Oh, that man was a problem. And Wake Forest is where he went. He was dunking on anything.
Right, and then he had a foot injury, and it kind of slowed him down.
But then he had the dribbles, he had the passing, and he could shoot.
Yeah, I'm picking Teague. But Kai, who you got?
Yeah, Brandon Jennings, you just need to grab a seat, my man.
Now, I'll give him the Ty
He's a
Lawson one.
hooper.
I'll give him Ty Lawson. I think he'll beat that.
Because Ty Lawson really didn't have that good of an NBA career. His college career, Ty Lawson was a dog.
I don't even know if he was I mean, he was good.
He was
but
good,
He
but-
was carried by Tyler Hansbrough.
I mean, Tyler Hansbrough was the star of the team, and there was also May, I think I named.
No, that was after the.
There was that team. I love that team. Tyler Hansbrough definitely was my favorite on that team, though. But I can give.
I think he played with Barnes too, didn't he? Didn't he play with?
He
Harrison
might have got him
Barnes,
at
too?
the end, but I know there was another like center or power forward. I think with like an R as a first name. I'm just drawing a blank right now. But I can give him over Ty Lawson. Not nowhere close to Lou Will. That's 6th man of the year multiple times.
Multiple times. Hell no.
There's no way in hell I'm giving you that one.
Hell no.
Hell no.
I was like,
Lou Williams was cold. He could have been a starter, but he was just better as a 6th man.
yeah. I was like, he was just being unselfish, but he definitely could have been a starter anywhere. But yeah, no, I'm like I said, Brandon Jennings was nice in high school, but he's like giving me the definition of someone that peaked in high school. Like, high school was it, and that's pretty much because like Jeff Teague said on his podcast, like he did have sorry teams. I'll admit, like those Milwaukee teams were garbage. But outside of that, what's his biggest highlight? He had that 55-point game in his career,
Which Ty
his
Lawson
rookie year.
keeps telling him to shut the hell up about. That's all you got to talk about. That's
Exactly.
all. That's your only claim is that 55 point game you had.
Which, if you go break down everybody in the big names I just named from the 2009 draft,
They've
they
all-
all got multiple 50-point games. Harden got few. Curry got a few. DeMar DeRozan, I think, got one.
And like as Teague was saying, they were part of more teams that were making runs to the playoffs, better teams where they had to sacrifice their shot. Like Teague when he was with the Hawks, that man could have lit the ball up, but instead he was playing the true
played the
point guard.
facilitator.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that because he was a key part of that Hawks run. So Teague has a point there when it comes to Jennings. You just had the more opportunities because you played with a more sorry team.
And I just pulled up Ty Lawson's his college
It's
career.
really not that well.
It's
He just
not.
He was just part
He
of
got
a.
carried by Hansborough.
He was just part of a great North Carolina team that was carried.
Yeah, he only had he averaged 13 points a game and 6 assists.
No, he was just there because he was like the Draymond Green of that team. You know, he was the spiritual leader behind Tyler Hansbrough crash out self.
Right. I was like, yeah, no. So I give him the edge over Ty Lawson, but that's really the only person I see him beating. I didn't even think Darren Collison will give him the work.
Hey, Collison
Was cold to UCLA.
Collison was definitely not one to be messed with.
Yep.
But I think we can go ahead and dive. Let's just dive right into the men's college basketball.
Kai, while he's pulling this up, what's your biggest takeaway from the first weekend of the tournament?
I'm gonna go ahead and pull up our bracket. By the way,
Florida's not as good as everyone claims they are. Is my big takeaway.
I agree with that, actually. I was really high on Florida going into the weekend, but yeah, they showed some weaknesses that
They shouldn't have won that game.
no, they shouldn't
In
have.
my personal opinion, they got lucky. If I'm Florida, I'm shaking in my boots right now.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I agree. I 100% agree with you.
You want to know what my biggest takeaway from right now is?
What you got?
Michigan State.
I was getting ready to say
worried.
that.
I said that they were a Final Four team. I got them in the national championship game, but after seeing them struggle against Bryant that first half, then struggle the second game, and I'm telling you, the whole reason why is that you realize most of these dominant teams right now, they all have that one player who's going to take over at the beginning and then take over at the end.
Well, that's yeah.
Michigan State, they don't have that, which I've said before. We have good players, but we're still young. They're still trying to develop.
Well, you do have that. You just don't use them. Like Jace Richardson is that player.
We should let him loose, but I don't think he's ready. He's fully ready to take over the whole game. He can maybe do it the second half like he does, but maybe he still is a freshman at this point.
That is true. He's still a freshman.
And the rest of the team around him, but you got to give Cohen and Richardson, you got to let them loose. In my opinion, you got to let those two freshmen, those are the two best aspects of that team, and right now you not letting them control the first half is really, I think, really made a difference in why they struggled against Bryant, why they struggled in the second game. And that's my biggest thing. I had them, mopping the floor.
Well, but New Mexico, they should have won that game too. But,
New Mexico was tough.
Yeah, shout out to Richard Pitino, who's about to move on to Xavier, actually. So he's coming to Cincinnati. But, what I noticed from Michigan State, and Kai and Marcus, you guys back me up. Go ahead and give your take on this too. I've noticed that too many times they turn into hero ball.
Yep.
Like, if you watch them play, as soon as they got down or, started to get beat up, they just went away from the team aspect. There was no swinging the ball around. Like, I saw plenty of times where there was an open shooter, but somebody was too busy driving to the hoop to see the shooter.
They're too busy, like you said, hero ball and trying to be that guy instead of just understanding, all right, hit that open guy. Let's get the game back in our way. Let's get the momentum swinging our way. And like we said, I think that's my biggest takeaway. Mm-hmm. Mike, what's your biggest takeaway so far?
I was gonna say the Michigan State one.
You should have known I was coming with that.
I should have known. My biggest takeaway is Duke is more dominant than what I thought.
Hey, Cooper Flagg
is that guy.
We said he was going to take over this March Madness tournament, and his stat line, I think he maybe only had 17 last game.
Well, he hasn't had to play the whole game.
It's a dominant 17.
He comes in, dominates,
and then leaves.
And then he's cool to sit the rest of the game.
How do you feel about Cooper Flagg, Kai?
I mean, the kid's a walking bucket.
A walking bucket.
I don't see many people that can stop him that's left in the tournament, personally. So I think Duke. I think right now Duke's my favorite.
Yeah, I agree with that. If I had to re-pick my champion, I would pick Duke this time.
All I gotta say is, as y'all fans can see that are watching and will be watching later, I do have Duke winning it all. But let's go ahead and dive into these brackets. We'll go east, west, north, south. We'll just go side by side. So we'll start off with the first half. We really won't cover the first Auburn game. That one wasn't really.
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about.
That was nothing
Auburn
to talk
did what
about.
they were supposed to do.
And the Creighton-Louisville game, Creighton did everything that they're supposed to do. I personally, I didn't pick Creighton. I don't know why I didn't pick Creighton when it comes time to play March Madness.
I picked Louisville too. They've been on a run though. Louisville was on a run, so I thought they were going to do something.
For me, Creighton just came out and they made a statement. How do you feel about Auburn and Creighton's their first two games they played?
I mean, Auburn's another one that showed some holes in my opinion. Creighton had them on the ropes for a little bit, but they were able to pull it out and make a run at the end, 82-70. But there's some holes. I'm interested to see what they do against Michigan this weekend. Yeah, I'm a little shaky on Auburn. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little shaky. I'm not feeling too confident if I'm an Auburn Tiger fan.
All right, Kai, I guess I'll ask you now. How did you feel about the Auburn-Creighton game? That is one I actually didn't get to watch.
I think the complete opposite. I don't think Auburn showed holes. I think Creighton just showed how good of a ball team they were, personally. I watched them that first round. They came out and they dominated.
They did. They dominated the Cardinals.
And I think even against Auburn, I mean, it was a pretty even game going into halftime. And obviously Auburn ran away with it a little bit, but
All I gotta say is what's impressive to me about this Auburn-Creighton game is Auburn ended up running away with it and everything when their best player only had 8 points.
Yep. Yeah, Janai Broom, he didn't play that well. I mean, he's 4 for 13, 0 for 4 from 3. He didn't play that well.
But if you can go ahead and do what you did without your best player being anywhere close to his best, I don't think you have anything to worry about right now when you won both games by more than 10 points.
Yeah, but they did that. I'm not saying that Creighton's a bad basketball team, because they're not. Creighton's a very good basketball team, very well coached by Greg McDermott. But now they're going up against Michigan. Michigan's going to be a little bit more competition. They're going to be a little bit. My only problem with Michigan, though, is that, like I said, over UC San Diego,
Yeah,
which I almost looked like a genius.
You almost did look like a genius there.
They turned the ball over too much, and that's why UC San Diego was able to get back in the game and almost win it. But so if Michigan can control the turnovers, I think they have a chance to beat Auburn.
Kai, how did you feel about Michigan's first game against U.S. San Diego where they almost lost? Then you can go ahead and follow up with their impressive performance against Texas A&M.
Yeah, they did play really well against Texas A&M.
Yeah, that UC San Diego game, I just don't think they matched up well. Like Mike said, they turned the ball over too much. But I watched them the next game, and those 7-footers are a problem down there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
they are an absolute problem.
They have that guy named Wolf, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Danny Wolf.
I mean, they were handling the rock well against an A&M team who gets hands on everything. Pause. But yeah, I like Michigan going into that Auburn game just because I think those 7-footers, if they play clean basketball, they're problems.
Yeah.
Point blank period. They're problems.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like you said, those 7-footers are an issue. Auburn doesn't have. Do they have a 7-footer on their lineup in their roster?
No,
they do. Broom's the biggest, right?
Yeah, he's a big man.
Yeah, and I think those 2 7-footers could just like they did against Texas A&M, just dominate. And but they have to control the turnovers because Auburn is a faster team, in my opinion. I think their guards can get up and down the court a little quicker. If they get turnovers and get fast breaks, they could run away with this game. So Michigan has to control the turnovers. That's my biggest thing from that one. But I agree with Kai. I like Michigan in this one as long as they control those.
I do like Michigan and their big man play in this one. But I do have Auburn pick. But now after watching the tournament, if I could change this pick right now, which at home I know I took it down for you guys, but I did have Auburn picked for this game. I had Yale making it to this point just because I love upsets, but Michigan's here. If I could pick now, I'm going with Michigan.
Yeah, real quick, what do you guys think about? Because there's been a lot of talk from ESPN analysts and everything. What do you think about the lack of Cinderella teams this year?
A lot of these topper division teams, they're well coached. And there are a lot of star power. Now, I will say, which I was going to get into this next one anyway because they're a part of this one. If Michigan State wasn't so deep, as they are, Bryant could have won that game.
Bryant wins that game.
They got gassed out because Michigan State was subbing 3 at a time, 4 at a time, 5 at a time, while Bryant could only sub 2.
Yep.
If Bryant had a full squad like Michigan or Michigan State had a smaller squad like Bryant upsets Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of the other teams' problems.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think, Guy?
I'm going to tell you why it's a problem.
Go ahead.
The NIL money.
Yep, I was just kidding. That was segueing into that.
Hey, you see how many, before you go, Kai, do you all see how many D1 and D2 transfers have already hit the transfer portal in just the first day?
Oh, the prime.
Over 1,000.
Look at a prime example. Look, 2 years ago, Florida Atlantic was in the Final Four. Right now, the 3 best players that were on that Florida Atlantic team are still in the tournament, but you notice Florida Atlantic is not. They transferred out. They had huge games, and they transferred out and got that bag.
Hey, even Brian Price.
Yep,
He's
right.
Hey, you're right on that. Yep.
That's what I was segueing into. It is 100% the NIL.
You can look at all the teams left, and they all got money to spend.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And we're going to talk about it later, but you can see there's a nice little storyline with your next Duke game going on.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
But the NIL definitely took away
because we'll go back to the Lehigh Duke upset years ago. C.J. McCollum stayed at Duke. There was no NIL money to send him away. Or Lehigh, sorry. Yeah, he stayed at Lehigh. There was no NIL money. So him being at Lehigh allowed him to get that moment, and he was able to take advantage of it. Same with the last time Kenneth McNeese State was a Cinderella team was Kenneth Fareed. Kenneth Fareed was on that team. And, I mean, look at Florida Gulf Coast when they had their, ridiculous run.
You know, I was thinking about that team earlier during the week. I was like, man, what was that one team that was just high flyers and just
Florida Gulf Coast?
It was Florida Gulf Coast.
Yep, Florida Gulf Coast.
Team was, and I think the NILs definitely ruined it. But
yeah, it's taken all the players that would have been there, the players that didn't get recruited by the Dukes and all that. They went to the smaller school to make a name. But now they have one good game in the tournament. The bigger schools notice them, so they just take them.
All right, so then do you think the NIL deals shouldn't be as big of a bag? Which I've said it before. There's no way you should be living in penthouse suites as a college quarterback like Caleb Williams was doing, living in a top penthouse suite, chilling it up.
Listen,
driving a 1.2 Lamborghini.
Kai can attest to this because he was an actual college athlete, so he can tell you a little bit about the lifestyle and everything like that. But I always been a huge advocate for student athletes getting paid. But when I said it, it wasn't millions. I said give them a couple, maybe a couple thousand every month. So that way they can live off of, because they can't get a job.
Like a little fixed income?
Yeah, right. Just something to sustain them so they could live a normal life, not make them millionaires. So
like a prepaid balance card.
Right, something like that. And yeah, so I think it has gotten a little outrageous. But like I said, I do want to hear your take, Kai, because you've lived the life.
Yeah, please divulge deeper into this.
Yeah, as a college athlete, I wish I was getting paid a fixed income. I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
I agree. It needs to be regulated. These players are pretty much getting optioned off by coaches now, and it's kind of getting to the point where we're crossing some lines of ethics here.
Yes.
It needs to be regulated. I don't think one team should have $20 million to spend and another team gets $500,000 to spend, because obviously there's going to be an imbalance of players.
Right. Right.
So if we want to bring back, I also think it's going to eventually eliminate all these small schools. They're not even going to be schools anymore.
Well,
kids aren't going to go in there.
You saw that St. Francis, who was just in the tournament, they dropped down to D3.
Division 3.
Yeah, they went back.
We're going to see a lot more of that with the NILs. A lot of these smaller schools are going to lose a lot of students, and we're going to see them start dropping divisions. It's just how it is.
Yeah. And say the only ones left are going to be the big schools that can afford to pay $200 million.
So NIL was a blessing and a curse. It's kind of taking away the fun of not the whole fun, because there's still been some great games and close games, but we all know during March Madness we live for that 14, 13, 15, 12 seed to make that phenomenal Elite 8, Sweet 16 run.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it just needs to be regulated. I like that students are getting paid. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want them to get paid, because they 100% should. But it, like Kai said, it does need to be regulated. They don't need to be making as much as pro athletes do.
You're not wrong, but let's go ahead and dive right back into this. And we already knew the Ole Miss UNC game. I mean, UNC tried to make it close, but as we said before, UNC didn't belong.
Did not belong.
And it showed mainly the whole game. UNC tried to close it at the end. I feel bad for my boy Davis out there, because he should have left last year.
Yeah, for real.
You staying this year, RJ Davis, kind of ruined your... It definitely ruined your draft stock, because you had a terrible year.
He did have a terrible year. Have a terrible game.
Shout out to Ole Miss for putting B to A.
So I was shocked by the Ole Miss Iowa State game because I liked Iowa State because of the shooting, but they ran them off the line and they didn't know what to do.
I thought both Iowa State men's and women's team were going to make a deep run, but Ole Miss, they're tough.
Mm-hmm.
They were definitely a sleeper team for me. I did not think they were going to, and I think personally, they're going to give Michigan State's problems.
I mean, they struggled against New Mexico and Bryant. I think my bracket might get busted because I picked Michigan State as a champion, and it's about to get busted this weekend because I like Ole Miss. I'm not gonna lie. Kai, go ahead and chime in here, but yeah, I like Ole Miss for this.
I do like the way Ole Miss is playing. They're playing with fire, man. They're shooting the ball well. They have what's that? Sean Padula, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tough. I like that kid a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots the ball well. He facilitates the rock. He's hot right now. He's playing the best basketball he's played all year. So I'm gonna also have to take Ole Miss over that Michigan State team. They're too shaky for me right now. They're not playing clean basketball, and I think Ole Miss takes that.
Yeah, which is crazy because, like I said, I picked Michigan State because they were playing well leading into this.
Well, a prime example is, I can tell you right now, is the problem. You got the first game, Michigan State played against Bryant. Jace went for 15. Cohen had a crazy game. He was the whole reason that Michigan State was even in the game at halftime.
Right.
And he had 18. Then you look at the second game, your two best players, Jace gave you 6.
That's what I'm saying.
And Carr gave you 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, they need to get the ball to your best player in those situations, and that is Jace Richardson. Like everyone else knows that Jace Richardson is the best player on that team, except for Michigan State.
It should be a 1-2 man game. You can, because what's crazy? Michigan State has so much potential with their young core that they have with Jace and Carr and the big man and everything. Because Carr can play in the post, and his jumping ability is out this.
Oh yeah, he's getting rebounds
out this world. So you can run them in pick and rolls. You can get them more involved and get them going early, instead of trying to, I don't know, make them be more passive at the beginning.
Yeah,
trying to get everybody involved.
Basically, the offense needs to go through Chase, and Carr can be like, that pick and roll guy, like you said, pick and roll, throw the lob.
Because I don't think he can really shoot like that.
No, but he's gonna work hard. He's gonna get those offensive rebounds. Let him do his thing by setting pick and rolls and doing all that.
He's your high motor energy.
Exactly, he's the Dennis Rodman of that team, basically, or Draymond Green is a more modern example. But let Chase or Jace Richardson run the offense. Like, that is his offense. Run it through him. That's what they need to do. If they do that and let my man cook, everybody else will eat, and Michigan State will do what they got to do.
Do you think that's a step Michigan State needs to take, Kai? You think that's a step towards the right direction? Or do you just think that it is the young inexperience of them being... They might be true freshmen.
I think they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think inexperience definitely is it, but if you get the ball in the playmakers will play.
Exactly.
And, that's just how it is,
Now, we got to dive into this, I think this would be the west side, if I'm correct.
It is, I think.
Yeah, we got to dive into west, because the second game, which we'll build into it, but the second game was definitely questionable. I don't think Florida deserved to win that one.
No.
And
UConn should have won.
Florida dominated Norfolk State as we expected, and UConn looked better than what I thought they would look against Oklahoma.
Yeah, I picked them to lose, but they played well.
I picked UConn to lose that one too, and they definitely came out better. And they actually made me think, they might be able to make a run.
They almost did.
Then they ran into Florida State, and I'll let you guys... Florida, my bad. Florida, and I'll let you guys... Because I didn't really get to watch the end of it, and I heard the UConn coach say, I hope the refs don't fuck you the way they fucked us.
Dude.
Was the refs that bad? Because I didn't get to watch the end of it. I had to go.
Kai, go ahead and take it first.
I don't think it was...
No.
In that situation, you don't call it. But,
mm-hmm.
What?
think it.
I guess what was it? Was it like a foul on the last
Yeah, there was
shot?
a late foul that led to free throws, and that's how they ended up going up by 2.
You think they should have held the whistle? I guess
Listen,
better question.
so here's my
Kai
thing.
already said he's not calling it. What do you?
Yeah, was it a foul? Yes. Do you call it in that situation? No. That's my thing. That's where it's at. It was indeed a foul, but it's not a foul I would call in that situation. Just like Kai said, let the players play, let them work it out in this situation. It is a foul. If it's a foul if there's like 8 minutes left in the half, then yeah, go ahead and call that. But with that little time, let the players decide it. Don't keep your whistle.
Hold the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with you guys there. I did watch the highlights, but I didn't get to watch it in time, in person, so I couldn't really. You know, when you watch the highlights compared to the in time, it's always different.
Yeah.
They slowed it down, and obviously, I'm like, yeah, that's a foul. I understand why you call it, but in the game feel, the game aspect, you got to hold the whistle.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you hold the whistle late, unless
Yeah,
it's a
referees-
blatant you're getting mugged.
Right.
You
Let
ain't
them
calling
play.
that.
Right. Let them play.
Now, I do got to give you props, Mike. Colorado State.
Should have won that. I'm
They deserve
sick.
to be playing Florida.
I'm sick.
They looked great against Memphis and against Maryland. They had their chances. Maryland, timeout. First off, Maryland in the second round for both men and women's, they had the battle.
They did.
They had both had a hell of a game
Yeah.
they had to play because Colorado State should have won this game. That dude had a great look.
Yeah, it was a great
phenomenal
play.
look.
Good move.
Hey, they know what they did? They put the ball in the playmaker's hand. Their best player said, "Make a play."
Well,
He drew everybody in on him, and he was unselfish. Like, I don't need to force this shot. There's an open man
Mm-hmm.
right there. Let me kick it to him. Great look. I thought it was going in. I thought Colorado State was going to continue the Cinderella run, but it didn't happen that way.
Well, Maryland, they had that last shot at the end, and I love what their coach did. Their coach literally in the huddle was like, "Who wants the ball? Who wants this shot? Who wants it?" And that dude, Derek Queen is his name.
Hey, he's the star player there.
Mm-hmm. Derek Queen said, "Give me the MF ball," is what he said. His coach said, "Give me the MF ball, and I'm gonna go to work." And he did. He came off, got the ball, and it was a nice move, beautiful shot. I got nothing to say bad about it. But man, I was wanting Colorado State to keep going.
Before you get to give your take on this, Kai, I will like to say between the stat line I'm looking at, Queen was the best option to take that shot. My man was 7 to 12, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. The only other option that was shooting good was their forward, which is crazy. Queen's a center. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to give a shout out to the Reese family. Just only in the simple fact of Angel might not be able to score it, but both the brother and sister can rebound the ball like no other.
I mean, yeah, they can.
They can rebound like no other. The brother went for 15 this game, and he has looked impressive. But they can rebound. He is a key part of their rebounding in Maryland.
Yeah.
So I did want to give a quick shout out because the Reese family gets a lot of hate because she's not as good as she thinks she is. But
She's not. But anyway, moving on.
Kai, how do you feel about the Colorado run and how they almost had it against Maryland?
Yeah, it was a hell of
Colorado
a
State,
game.
by the way.
Yeah, back and forth all game. I picked Maryland to win this game personally, but they definitely had to work for it. You know, they definitely had to work for it. It was a hell of a last shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike said, you know, when somebody wants the ball, you put the ball in his hands and you let him go to work, and that's what happened. And
I said let him
barely
cook now.
beat that next round, but it is what it is, you know.
Yep. I was like, he did his thing. Like I said, he did exactly. Coach trusted him, and he told him, and that trust was not wasted.
Hey, all I gotta say was I was completely wrong that round. I had Memphis and Grand Canyon.
Yeah, you were.
playing.
I'm looking at your bracket. You was garbage.
This portion I was terrible.
Yeah, you was garbage, dog.
Like the first half, I didn't do so bad. Like you look at this first half.
Who gave this man a podcast? What the hell?
But you go to this West, I was getting tore up until we got even look here.
Yeah, like, who gave this man a podcast?
And
what
now, hey,
he don't know ball. It's like,
hey, now we got Missouri and Drake played. Drake did get their win. They look good. But then they ran into
listen,
Texas Tech.
this is the best analogy I can give you. Missouri versus Drake was Family Matters. Drake versus Texas Tech was Not Like Us. That's all I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there because
I can go with that. I can definitely go with that.
Texas Tech was just a bigger team. They were a little bit better. I mean, Toppin, what's his first? I can't think of his first name, but Toppin was going crazy.
Texas Tech?
Yeah.
Of course, they won't let me.
I think it's Jamari or something like that. I don't know. But he was cooking. I mean, he couldn't be stopped. He had 25. He was 11 of 13. There was no stopping him. And Drake had no answer for him. So, I mean, Drake had a good run. Drake's still a good basketball team. I expect them to get back here next year.
Hey, who's that Williams dude?
He was cooking too. I can't think of his first name either, but him and Toppin were cooking.
28 and 25, 11 for 18, 11 for 13. Hey, I know if Gentry's on the podcast right now, he'd be going crazy because he told us, watch out for Texas Tech.
Listen, Texas Tech is losing next round. Arkansas is beating Texas Tech.
Hey, we're going to get into that. But, Kai, how do you feel about Texas Tech right now and how they've looked going in, getting ready for their Sweet 16 appearance?
Excuse me. My thing with Texas Tech is who they played to get here. You know, I think Arkansas is going to really. Arkansas is a lot different than Drake.
And I'm glad you said that because let's talk about Arkansas because they did exactly what I wanted them to do against Kansas.
Yep. I knew they were going to beat Kansas. I had no faith in Kansas.
Let's see. I definitely picked Arkansas to win that one.
Hey.
Then St. John's did what they were supposed to do against Omaha, but that Arkansas-St. John's game made me a true believer in Arkansas.
Yeah, right. I got to say, shout out to Hunter Dickinson in Kansas. I can't wait for him to do my taxes.
Hey, I saw a thing. The moment he started coming to Kansas, they went from being number 1 and number 2 to they were 5th and they were 6th in their.
Like I said,
since he's been there, and he was supposed to be the Great White Hope.
Like I said, I can't wait for him to start doing my taxes. But anyway, yeah, Arkansas, Calipari's back, baby. I was like, Calipari is back. I think Arkansas is going to make a deep run. I think they beat Texas Tech this weekend.
Hey, that Adebayo, or Adu, however you say his name, because I know I'm going to fuck it up, but he might have only had 7 points last game, but he is a key energy point of that Arkansas team.
I do think, yeah, he was the energy point. I will say this. I need DJ Wagner to step up just a little bit. Yes. DJ Wagner's got to play a little bit better if they're going to make a deeper run. But
giving me Darius Garland playoff vibes.
He is a little bit. He is giving me those Darius Garland vibes as well. But yeah, I need DJ Wagner to play a little better. But if they're gonna, I think they can make a deep run if he does. I think they got the squad for it. They got the coach for it. So I mean, I'm high on Arkansas right now.
Kai, how you feel about what John Calipari?
Yeah, it's Calipari
has done and revived the great Arkansas.
I mean,
I love Arkansas right now. They got 6 guys averaging over 8 points.
Right.
It doesn't matter who has the ball in their hands; they're scoring the rock. You know what I'm saying? So, I think when you have that many scorers on the floor, it definitely increases your chances of winning late in March Madness.
Because there's so many different people that could score in that moment. Like, you're not relying on just one person. You can go to anybody on the court, and you ain't got to worry about it.
You're not wrong. I'm excited for the Texas Tech Arkansas matchup, the 27th. I know I'm definitely going to be tuning in to that one. I want you to know I did not have that Sweet 16 matchup. I was wrong on both of them. I had Drake and St. John's.
Listen, bruh.
I want to see what yours is. I'm mad you don't have your laptop down.
I'm going to go get it after.
You over here picked UC San Diego.
I did. I picked UC San Diego.
You had some questionable upsets on there, too.
Listen,
all right?
Was it questionable? They lost by 3.
I'm just saying there was a couple there was a couple losses on yours too. I wish we could see yours, but mine's getting publicized and taking the hits. All right. But now we're gonna dive into the East side where Duke is definitely the clear favorite in the East. They handled Mount St. Mary's, which we expected. They handled Baylor, which everybody expected. Their biggest matchup right now, which everybody's got circled because they have a former Duke player playing.
Caleb Love.
No,
he didn't play at Duke. No, that was Baylor. Yeah, Baylor. They
Baylor?
had Jeremy Roach. He used to play for Duke.
Okay, and well, he got belt ass.
Yeah.
He did nothing.
Yeah, Arizona has Caleb Love, who used to play at UNC.
There we go. And that one, I am excited to see that matchup because there's really nothing to talk about with Duke besides the fact that Cooper Flag is the truth.
He's that guy.
He's doing everything we said he was going to do when it came time to March Madness. He stepped up, and he's that guy. How do you feel about what Cooper Flag and Duke's looking like right now, Kai?
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said earlier, they're my clear favorite to win. Cooper Flag is literally doing everything for them right now, and he's doing it on limited minutes. So
My man's definitely looking like the number one draft pick again. No doubt.
he's
Oh,
the number
no
one
doubt.
draft pick.
No, he is
No
the
doubt.
number one draft pick. There's no question anymore.
He's stamping it as we speak in this March Madness.
Now, how do you guys feel about Arizona? They had to play Akron first. They had a little tough game against Oregon. They only squeaked it out 87-83 running into Duke. Do you think Arizona stands a chance against the powerhouse Duke right now?
Say it with me now. No. That's my opinion. I have nothing else to say on it. No.
Hey, appreciate it, big homie. We worked hard on it.
I was like, no. I see no, given an ungodly performance from Caleb Love, I see no chance of them winning.
I also have, I will say this Sweet 16 matchup, I was right now. I had Liberty upsetting Oregon, and I can tell you that was only because I was hoping for upsets. I live for upsets. Some of my picks are just praying for an upset. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I also picked Liberty for that. So.
And then I had Mississippi State instead of Baylor, which Mississippi State almost did win. But I did have this Sweet 16 matchup picked right when I had Duke in Arizona.
For the record, I also missed that entire thing here.
Sweet 16, bro, because
But I was good here.
Florida and Maryland.
Yeah, I had Colorado State beating Maryland, which, again, very close to looking like a genius, but wasn't to be.
How'd your the top part look?
Oh, my bracket's cooked because I had St. John's going to the Final Four, so my bracket's cooked.
But hey, that top portion don't look too bad though. From when I'm,
Yeah, it's just the UC San Diego and New Mexico,
which that's not too bad.
and Ole Miss. I had Iowa State beating Ole Miss.
And then I will gotta say, BYU, big surprise to me. I didn't think they had they're giving me Jimmer Fredette type BYU, 'cause that's what he played, right?
Yeah, he played at BYU.
Giving me old BYU vibes.
But the controversy, Kai, let me get your opinion on this. Do you think that should have been a technical?
I didn't see it. What happened?
Oh, so at the end of the game, BYU dunked the ball and then hung on the rim as the time expired.
Time expired. But hold up.
As the time expired.
Hold up. Now, when he dunked it, was he hanging on it, and there was
Yes.
still 2 seconds
Yes.
left, and it ticked down to
It was one. It's like one. It's like 1.5 or something like that.
Oh, fuck that! No, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
What you think, Kai? Because they're saying that Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin actually appealed it.
I mean, that would give them a chance to tie the game with those 2 technical shots.
They would have got 2 technical free throws and gave them a chance to tie. What you think, Kai?
Why you go ahead? I'm gonna go ahead and show them my bracket again. Let them see how cooked it is right now.
Yeah, I think once again, that's just a time where you just don't call it.
No, I agree. I just wanted to stir up some controversy. But yeah, no, I agree. It was a no call. I don't blame Wisconsin for trying it. I mean,
No, for sure.
yeah, like if I'm the coach, I'm gonna try it.
For you guys at home, I'm gonna give y'all a quick scan through.
Yeah, over here I didn't do too bad, but I mean, I missed on BYU because I thought VCU was gonna beat them.
Yeah, I definitely have VCU, but BYU for me, they're giving me now. They got Alabama this one, which let's talk about Alabama.
Yeah.
Because I think it was either Robert Morris. I think their first game. That's the one where they really struggled until they brought in Grant.
Mhm.
They struggled heavily, and it showed that I had Alabama start at the beginning of the year because I thought Grant and Mark were gonna get it clicking. They were going to make that next turn and get it going. But honestly, they're not having the year I thought they're going to have. Yeah, they're the second seed and everything, but they've looked shaky this whole year. And I think BYU could potentially upset him here. Like, I don't think this one is a clear favorite, and I have Alabama rolling over them. I can't say that.
I think it's another one of those, like, BYU has size, and I think that's going to come to play again. Just like we talked about, I forget the game we talked about it in, but I think BYU's size is going to be a factor. Alabama's more guard heavy, which they do have the better guards, but BYU has, Michigan, that's what we're talking about. I think they have a 7-footer and then a guy who's 6'11". So I mean, they have the size, and I think it's going to come down to that. And I think BYU will pull. I think they'll pull it out too. Honestly, I think they'll do enough to win the game.
Even though I have Alabama going on to play Duke next round, that's because I didn't have a VCU in this mix. I have VCU in the mix instead of this surprise BYU team. How you feel about this Alabama BYU matchup, Kai?
BYU has looked good. They've shot the ball really well. But I still got to go Bama on this. I think the quickness of their guards is going to torch how slow BYU is. And I think ultimately Bama's defense is also going to turn up the pressure a little bit and force some uncalled for shots out of BYU. So I'm taking Bama.
All right. Now we go ahead and dive into the Midwest side of it. We have Houston rolling over their first game. Then they ran into Gonzaga the second game, where they had a close one there. How do you feel about Houston so far before entering into the Sweet 16 matchup against Purdue, who we will talk against more about Purdue's matchup here in a second?
I actually kind of like Houston to go make a deep run, just because I feel like them playing Gonzaga, it's more of like they're battle tested, because Gonzaga's a good team. Mark Few every year makes a run into the tournament and does something crazy. So for them to beat Gonzaga already, I think Purdue's going to be no problem. I think it's going to be a good game. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be a good, close game, but I think Houston pulls this one out. I like Houston.
Kai, how do you feel about now? Go ahead first. Go ahead. How do you feel first, Kai?
I'm personally not a big fan of matchup.
I'm gonna need you to repeat that one more time for me, big fella.
I'm not a big fan of Houston in this matchup personally. I think, to me, Houston hasn't really shown. I mean, they've shown that they should be the number one seed, yes, but have they shown me number one seed basketball yet? No.
I can agree.
Purdue's no slouch. I'm really liking the Big Ten basketball right now, and I think Purdue takes that.
Hey, but I will say I am sad to see McNeese go down against
Man,
Purdue.
I'm sick.
Can we just take a second, and this leads right into that NIL bullshit we were talking about. Do you see what that
Amir
Khan is making in NIL money with just being the radio boombox dude?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He had his own assistant coach.
Mm-hmm.
That was just his assistant.
Mm-hmm. And now he's gone to NC State with he went with the coach.
Yep.
He left to go with the coach. I was like, yep. My man's getting paid like a hooper, and he's just the equipment manager.
Bro, he got like 1.2 million. Is crazy.
Amir, Aura.
Hey, but I would gladly go carry a boombox. If I'll play Young Boy. I can play the country. I can play the rap.
I can tell you right
R&B. I'll carry that boombox. I don't care how heavy that bitch is.
For sure. I'll tell you right now though, that shit's not gonna hit the same at NC State. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That shit is not gonna hit the same.
Because he was playing that
blown out by Duke in North Carolina every other game.
He was playing that trap stuff down there, but they were getting it down there, man. He fit in perfect there at McNeese. All right,
that's the South, okay? It's North Carolina, so it's not that far south, but they ain't gonna.
Everybody on that roster is a YN.
Exactly. That shit
out,
is not gonna hit the
certified.
same. Exactly. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I was like, I get it. I would go with the coach that made me millions of dollars too, but Yeah, he is not going to hit the same in NC State. I'm telling you that right now.
All right, and now on the other side of things, you have Kentucky.
And in Illinois,
Yeah, my bracket's all messed up on here. Let me pull up the actual one. I got too many losses on that side.
you suck. Also, I missed this one too, though.
Yeah, you got Kentucky and Tennessee. I can tell you right now, I had Xavier playing against Kentucky, and obviously Illinois put beat A to Xavier.
Yep.
Then got beat A put to them by Kentucky. Kentucky was a surprise, was a sleeper pick for me, which is crazy to call 3 seed a sleeper. But when they're in a tough SEC that they are, they're easy to be forgotten about. Because
Sure.
Florida was hyped up so much, which now they're questionable.
Yep.
But Kentucky, to me, they were a team that you had to watch out for because, like I said, they were all new transfers, all experienced players. And I'm pretty sure all of them were like 1,000-point scorers or something like that.
Something like that.
So, like, they had the experience. They can all put the ball in the bucket. So you can't sleep on Kentucky. And they're running into Tennessee, who's, for me, I'm really have no favorite in this game. This one's going to be one I am solely watching to see what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't decide. Maybe you guys can pick a team to win out of this one. But for me, I'm in the air on both.
I'm going to say whoever plays defense better. I do think Tennessee has the edge defensively, so I'd like Tennessee. But, I mean, like you said, these teams are evenly matched. They played very well against each other in the SEC. So I'm excited for this one, too, just to see who comes out. But if I had to pick, I'm going Tennessee.
Kai, how you feel about this, Kentucky or Tennessee?
Yeah, I think it's also a coin flip. I think this game all depends on how Chaz Lanier, the Tennessee guard, comes out and plays.
Mhm.
I think if he can have a good night scoring, I think they'll take it easily with the defense that they play. But if he struggles from the field, I think they're in trouble.
I can totally agree with you. Now, right now with the teams remaining out of the men's side, well, I know Kai's picking Duke. I think we all just basically
We're picking
decided
Duke. I'm just gonna
out of
say.
these teams, Duke's our clear favorite for this one. But we'll all be thoroughly surprised if Duke doesn't run away with this one.
Yeah, I'm picking Duke. If whoever beats Duke is winning the championship, because that's the massive upset. So, yeah, I'm going Duke.
Kai, you going? I know you already said it, but one more official time before we get together after the Sweet 16.
Duke.
Yep.
All right, I think we're all pretty set there. Duke for the national championship, which pains me to say, but honestly, Cooper Flag with what he's done this year, the pressure that he had on him coming into the year, because it was a crazy amount.
I mean, yeah. He had
So much hype, so much anticipation.
He had LeBron-level hype when he was coming into the NBA going into college.
And I think he's answering every question right now. There's no doubt that any team that gets the first round pick is going to take Cooper Flag next year if he leaves.
No
and there's
question.
no reason for Cooper Flag to even attempt to stay. All I got to say is Duke needs to do something with their shoes.
Yeah, their shoes are whack.
You had Zion. You keep having Cooper Flag slipping. They need to get new sponsor, get different Jordans. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I'm buying this hat for when they win the national championship, just so you know.
I mean, I don't blame you. But let's move on to this women's side, because we didn't talk about it at all last pod. But I know I got to watch a couple games, and there's a game I can't wait to dive into. But first, we'll start off with, I picked UConn to win this one off.
Yeah, that's who I would pick too. I didn't fill one out because I got busy, but I also would have picked out UConn, which ain't gonna work out this year.
Now, before we even get started, I want to say all of our prayers, all of our wishes for the Stat Junkies podcast to Juju. Wish you nothing but a speedy recovery. ACLs are becoming a tragic thing for NBA, college sports, just basketball in general. ACLs are becoming a big thing.
Any sport, really. Any sport, they've just been taking people out.
So I feel for them. Because for me, USC was poised to make a deep run.
I was going to say, especially with UConn getting knocked out, I think they definitely would have.
UConn didn't get knocked out.
They did, didn't they? Didn't they lose?
No.
Oh, I thought they lost.
No, they mopped the floor.
Mop.
The UConn. Paige Becker's last game. If all I gotta say is, Paige Becker's matchup leading into this was gonna be, if it stayed the same, was gonna be Oklahoma, USC, UCLA, then South Carolina to win it all. And if she played the way she played last game, there's no doubt in my mind UConn was gonna win it all.
Well, that's what I picked.
She was a walking bucket. I mean, she came out, which is very rare for beginning of the game. She was looking for a shot. Like, she was determined. I'm shooting everything. I think she shot the first 4 or 5 shots to try to find a shot. Then once she got it going, they were down for a second. Then Paige said, "Nah, not on my watch."
Listen, I hope she keeps that up because I've been telling y'all for a while. Paige was.
It's what she deserves out of all of her time at the. She has been nothing but the Final Fours in her run at UNC. And first off, round of applause to her, because she is the only player ever in college, in the NBA, WNBA basketball to average. And let me pull it up because I know I screenshotted it, so make sure I get it right. She shot 54% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line, but also led D1 with a 3.8 assist to turnover ratio. She is the first person ever in all of CBB, WNBA, and NBA history to average that.
I mean, listen, she's the GOAT. I was like, she's always been one of my favorite players. I was following her when she was in high school. Like, she's always been one of my favorite players. I always knew that she was going to be a hooper. I can't wait to see her get into the league. I want to see a Caitlin Paige Bruckers matchup right off the bat.
Give it to me.
Yeah, I'll eat that up. But yeah, I mean, that's why I picked UConn in the first place. I saw someone told me they lost, and I believed them like an idiot.
Yeah, you silly for that.
I was
one.
like, yeah, and I believed them like an idiot.
They set you up, bro.
They did. They set me up.
Because Kai can attest for me there. UConn, they are not struggling right now.
Yeah, I see them. They're right here. I just saw the score.
Now we'll go ahead and start off. UCLA is definitely one of the favorites to make it to the Final Four with Lauren Betts leading the way there, but they do have a tough matchup, which is a surprise team for me in Ole Miss.
Ole Miss on the men and women's side.
They're making a hell of a run. I think I got UCLA still winning this because I just see them making it one more round, then they're gonna finally fizzle off in their hope because they're either gonna run into LSU or NC State and they're gonna get B-Day.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think UCLA will win this one, but they're not going to get past either of those two teams, like you said. I think Falaj. I actually like LSU in the NC State game, and I think they'll make it to the Final Four, and it'll be LSU UConn, in my opinion. So I'm excited for that. I want to see that.
All right, Kai, how do you feel about? Hold it. First off, do you have UCLA, Ole Miss?
I'm a big fan of UCLA personally. I think that they're going to make a deeper run than you guys are calling. I think they beat LSU or NC State.
See, my only problem is, and this is the game I want to talk about because NC State put belt to ass to Michigan State. That second round, 83-49. NC State is no team to sleep on, but that LSU team put up 100 the first game and second game, and I mean they played slouches. With Florida State, they do have the number one scorer in Liston there. She's a dog. Certified bucket getter. But LSU in that big three, Falage, Morrow, and Williams, nasty, unguardable, and if they're hot, there is no stopping them.
Mm-hmm.
There is no stopping their three. That is one of the best big threes in female basketball right now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and that's why I said I think it's going to be LSU UConn in the Final Four. I think UConn wins that, but yeah, it's going to come down to LSU and UConn in the Final Four.
How do you feel about LSU and NC State, Kai?
Give me LSU.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, NC State, they're no slouches. They have definitely done their thing this year. they've definitely been getting it done. But when you're running into an experienced coach, an experienced team in LSU, Kim Mulkey has done her thing down at LSU, a champion down at LSU.
And a champion in Baylor. Don't forget,
Yeah,
she won a championship at Baylor.
Put
too.
some respect on her name. She's up there in the greatest, and up there in the talks of the greatest women coaches. You got to put her up there in the talks. So it's hard for me to bet against LSU when it comes time to at least this round.
Yeah, no, I'm going LSU for sure.
Now the next round, it pains me to talk about this one because USC was looking good.
They were.
They were looking good. And, I mean, they still look good once Juju went down because you can't sleep on Kiki, Ifrin, however you say the last name.
I think it's different.
Because I've heard them say it 2 different ways on the announce.
Yeah.
So they can still make a run, and I think they can get past Kansas State. Now, Kansas State is a really tough team, which they played a hell of a game against Kentucky. I watched that game, and I thought Kentucky was going to win that one.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought Kentucky winning that. I thought they were going to win it too. But yeah, no, for this one, I think USC does rally around Juju going down, and they get like the push they need. So I think USC does beat Kansas State, but
the problem runs into is next round.
Yeah, next round they're going to run into UConn, which we already know how I feel about that. So yeah, I'm picking for that one. I'm picking USC. I'm picking USC over Kansas State.
Kai, how do you feel? You think USC can rally behind Juju going down and make one more dramatic win before their luck runs out?
Yeah, I think they get their one more win. Kiki's been playing good ball.
And there's some other hoopers that you just they get outshined when you have people like Kiki and Juju putting up phenomenal numbers like they've been.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
they're a solid team. Well coached. They can all get buckets. I think they'll get past Kansas State and make their exit when they run into UConn.
And now, I know we're all saying UConn, but that's just because UConn is matched up against Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, they are no slouch. They do have some great players. But you're talking about the greatest female coach of all time.
That's what I said. You can't go against the GOAT. Like, Gino, that's the GOAT.
Talking about a freshman of the year.
Mm-hmm.
If not the winner of freshman of the year. Probably, arguably one of the greatest women basketball players collegiate basketball players to play.
Mm-hmm. When it's all said and done. I was like, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Even without a national championship, you cannot take away from, because I also heard talks about does Paige Beckers, I guess, no, that's what I need to ask you guys. Out of everything great Paige Beckers has done for UConn, the big thing when it comes to UConn is you got to win it all. UConn has been in a little bit of a drought.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody said Paige Beckers was supposed to bring him out of it. Does her legacy get tarnished a little bit with not being able to get to the game, let alone win it?
If she doesn't win it this year, yeah. But you can't really account the other years. I mean, last year she had an ACL injury. Or not last year, 2 years ago. She had an ACL injury, so she was out for the tournament. Last year, it was a rough year. She just didn't get back.
She had no help. They ran into Caitlin Clark in them, team. And it was literally 1v5.
Right. So I think this year, because they do have the team now, I think this year it would tarnish, but you can't really hold the other years against her. She ran into the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, last year, and
as a freshman, she took her team to the Final Four.
Right.
Kai,
and then, like I said, her sophomore year, she tore her ACL. So,
Kai, how do you feel? Does the no championship tarnish her legacy a little bit, or do you just got to chalk that up to you powerhouses like South Carolina and LSU?
No, I think it definitely tarnishes her legacy a little bit. All the greats have one from UConn, pretty much.
Facts.
You look at Stibbe, you look at Maya Moore, you look at all that. And
there you go.
The list goes on. Lobo.
All the way back to, I was going to say all the way back to Rebecca Lobo, Diana Taurasi.
Yeah. We could put together 2 WNBA rosters with champions on that team.
Facts.
So I think, if she wants to be a UConn legend, you got to have that ring.
See, but like, do we got to take into consideration that at that time of UConn's big runs, they were one of the, if not the big recruiting powerhouse behind Tennessee at that time, because you had Candace Parker and Pat Summitt at there.
Yeah.
Now you got Dawn Stanley.
Yeah.
You got Kim Mulkey at LSU. You got other teams now that have followed in the whole tradition of Gino, and now they have similar, if not same, type build of. Now there's more powerhouses, I guess to say.
I'm gonna put it like this: you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. I'm gonna put it that way.
I agree with you. I needed to get your guys' full take because I've been seeing it all over the media.
I mean, yeah, don't sleep. Like Rebecca Lobo and all them, they were still playing good teams.
Yes, no doubt. Don't sleep on
it wasn't like they were just running through everybody. But I mean, you could tell when Maya Moore played, she was clearly the best player on the court.
Well, clearly the best player in the league.
Right.
There was no argument.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. And I think Paige has that ability, but I mean, she's got to bring one challenge. She's got to bring a chip home.
I think, and Kai, I want to get your take on this first, and then Michael's. I think this year, Paige, and throughout this year, she hasn't looked aggressive like she looked last year when she didn't have the support around her.
Right.
And now she had the support, and she's let Sarah Strong do her thing during the year, let Ozzie Fudd get her footing back. But you started seeing it last game where she said, all right, I'm taking over early. I'm putting my stamp on this game early. I am willpowering my team back into the lead. I am taking over.
Mm-hmm.
Does she need to stay aggressive like she is now and quit that the team play? Like we talked about with Michigan State, the whole team play. You gotta know when it's time to take over. You're in the Sweet 16. This is your final run, your 5th year. You gotta put your blinders on, in my opinion, in some sort of way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Kai, go ahead and give your take on it, but I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I think she knows that as well. You know, I think she knows that as the games are starting to get a little bit more even as competition-wise, she's going to have to step up and take over some of these games when it gets to crunch time.
Yeah, I was like, this is her part to make a name for herself. Like, Caitlin Clark is as big as she was because of what she did in the tournament both years. Stephen Curry got drafted as high as he did because of what he did at Davidson.
So taking a team to the Final Four isn't enough?
I mean, she did that in her freshman year. Okay, cool. That's great.
So it's time to level up?
Yeah, it's what have you done for me lately? It's always been like that with sports. Everybody knows that.
You're not wrong. It is. What have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me lately? That was 3 years ago. You took us to the Final Four. Appreciate that.
We
still didn't get a chip, though.
We see winning coaches get fired all the time because they can't just get over the hump and win the championship.
Exactly.
I'm not saying they're never going to fire Gino.
No,
Gino's going to get retired.
I mean, Gino has proven that he can win a chip. I mean, he's won all of them. But that's what I'm saying. I was like, it's time for her to step up.
Put
She's
that
a
S
senior
on your
now.
chest.
She's got the experience. She's got to make the run. So we'll see. I think she can. I think she will. But
now this next matchup I am circling on the calendar, the 29th, 1 p.m. You have Notre Dame versus TCU. And I first off want to once again give my flowers, hats off to what Haley Von Lith has done this year, how she has reclaimed her title and being cold. Bro,
yeah, she looked weak for a minute there.
But she had
LSU move. She looked weak.
It wasn't the right fit for her. We said that.
No.
We said that at the beginning when she went to LSU. You went from being the number one player, put the team on your back at Louisville, which is crazy. She actually beat Louisville.
Yeah.
To get to the Sweet 16. But you went from that to being maybe the 4th, 5th option on that LSU team because you had Falage, you had Angel, you had Morrow, you had.
Yeah.
Well, the list goes on, and that was never the fit for you. So we all knew she was going to take a hit there.
Yeah. No, I like the move to TCU. I'm actually going to take TCU. I think TCU over Notre Dame on this one, in my opinion. I think Hannah Hidalgo has been hooping all season.
I can't go against Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles. What they're doing down at Notre Dame, scary business. Hannah Hidalgo for Player of the Year.
Yeah, no, I agree. She's definitely player of the year. But I do think that Haley Von Lift pulls something out of her butt and she gets the dub.
Before
I'm
Kai
taking
goes,
TCU.
I think TCU pulls it out if Sidonia Prince, their big woman, if she comes to play and she comes out early and puts her statement on the game because she is a dominant big man when she's ready to play.
Yeah.
Kai, how do you feel about this Notre Dame TCU matchup? Because right now it's probably one of the biggest Sweet 16 matchups we have going on.
Looking here, yeah, it's definitely the biggest.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame. Notre Dame is too hot right now. Respect to TCU and what they've done this season, but they're not stopping Notre Dame.
I totally agree. I see Notre Dame getting into the Final Four. Now this next matchup.
How about them Horned Frogs? Shock the world.
This next matchup, I don't even think is going to be close. Tennessee is a great team. Don't get me wrong. They are fantastic.
But Texas got something going on.
But Texas, there's something different in that water right now.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to SC at the beginning of the year, but then they came back and they handled SC just like UConn did too. So like Texas, they're definitely one of my Final Four picks. Actually, I'll pull up my bracket right now. I know I got Texas in the.
Listen, Tennessee wins this game if somehow, some way, Pat Summitt walks through that door. That's the only way. And Candace Parker. If Candace Parker and Pat Summitt walk through the door, I'll take Tennessee.
Yeah, no, I got Texas and Notre Dame.
Right. Since neither of them are coming through that door for Tennessee, it's Texas. I was like, it's Texas, and I got to go with them.
Kai, who you got, Tennessee or Texas?
Yeah, pretty obvious here. I got Texas.
Yeah, that one's kind of just a no-brainer. There's always there's always those couple Sweet 16 games that you're just like, eh.
Like I said, if Candace Parker came and suited back up, I would give Tennessee a fighting chance.
Hey, well, we got a rivalry.
Duke and UNC.
I'm giving it to Duke. I can't even lie. Duke. I know I picked North Carolina. That's just because I couldn't pick Duke to win both times.
Yeah, Duke's going
in the men's and women, but Duke has a disgusting team, and what makes it even worse is they have a freshman on the bench that barely gets to play in Fournier, who can also dunk too. Mm-hmm. But she barely gets to play. But there's Duke's starting lineup, that Jackson, I think her name is, or whatever. Mm-hmm. That team is definitely a scary team. If they get hot and get going, they could be a surprise team to.
Yeah, Kara Lawson's got a squad over there. I was like, Kara Lawson's done big things at Duke, and I think she's going to keep it going. I'm also picking Duke. I like that. And, yeah, there's going to be Duke versus South Carolina in the next round.
What are you thinking, Coach?
Yeah, I also got Duke. And I also got South Carolina. So you guys hit all the points there. You know, I think Duke is just – they got something good going on over there. And
that guard action.
By South Carolina, but it is what it is.
See, now South Carolina, for me, they're the biggest question mark for the number one team. Only because one, even though they did lose to Texas and UConn, they deserve to be the number one outright overall seed just in their strength of wins and teams they played. And I think they're trying to make their statement in this run, but they've been shaky this year.
They have been. They've been very shaky.
There's no key person that's willing to take over. Now, they have the players, because for me, their best player comes off the bench in Mileja Fuwali. Mm-hmm. She's their best player, and she comes off the bench. But Chloe Kitts, I think is her name.
Yeah. She's
really stepped up for SC in this tournament run, and she's going to have to be a big point, and Fuwali's going to have to get it going for, I think, South Carolina to even be relevant in this Final Four run.
Yep. I was like, I agree with that. I actually, hot take, because, that's what I do. I actually do see Duke having a fighting chance in the next round, where I think they're going to get past Maryland. I think South Carolina's going to win that, no problem. But I do see, like you said, if Duke gets hot and they come out, I think they have a shot.
Hey, all I got to say is we cannot sleep on Maryland, because that Maryland-Alabama game
was good. It was a good game.
Crazy. Double overtime, and hats off to, I got to get a name right, because she will powered her team. Oh, where? Of course, they're not. They don't want to. They don't want to show me it now when I need it. They want to show me Maryland's, but they don't want to show Bama. This one chick from Bama. Oh, Sarah Ashley Barker.
All the names are right there. What are you
Well, because I just wasn't clicking. 45 points.
That's work.
Bro, she went for a tournament, her career high, I think a tournament record, some shit like that, bro. She drew a foul on a 3-point play at the end of the game to send it to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought she was going to willpower her team. They tried to get it to her last play. Hell of a defensive stand by Maryland. They got a tough team with Smichael and them out there, but
I'm crashing out in the locker room if I score 45 points and lose. I'm absolutely crashing out when I get to the locker room. You know how RDC World does all those skits of LeBron crashing out? That's what I'm going to be like when I get back in the...
I'm mad too, bro. No, I'm not about to put up 45 and we still lose.
Listen, I'm hitting the transfer portal before we even leave the locker room. I'm gone. There ain't no way that I'm putting up 45 in a college game and I lose. Ain't no way.
Alright, so I guess for me, right now, as I'm looking at the women's bracket, if it does happen, that Texas Notre Dame game is about to be a show.
That's going to be a movie, bro.
Bro, that's going to be an event like no other.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, the UCLA LSU game, but I'm kind of ready just to get to the Final Four because I'm kind of expecting it to go LSU, UConn, South Carolina, Notre Dame.
What's
maybe
the championship
Texas.
look like?
Oh, I got UConn and Notre Dame.
I got South Carolina and UConn.
And then I got UConn winning it by 3.
I like that score, but I got South Carolina and UConn.
By the way, y'all at home, I got 73-70 UConn.
I was like, I do like the score. I like the 73-70 score, but UConn's going to win it.
Kai, who you got right now? Women's national championship game.
UConn.
Them Huskies.
I like UConn, South Carolina. I like that championship.
That would be a tough one because that would be a rematch,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be a great one. Men's side, who would you like? Who out of? Because we know we got Duke winning it. So I guess who would be your best option that you'd want to see Duke have to play in the championship game?
Michigan State. It's still Michigan State for me. Duke and Michigan State, just because I think Michigan State athletically can match up with Duke.
And they got some height too down there.
Yeah, it's just that Cooper
Well,
Flag
up there, I
effect. I was like, Cooper Flag effect is too big. So that's why I still take Duke, but I think Michigan State will give them the toughest matchup.
All right, Kai, 2 questions for you. 1, who do you got for your national championship? And 2, do you think Arkansas can sneak their way into the Final Four? Because they just got to go through what's looking like Florida. If Florida beats Maryland, they'll have to beat Florida to get to the Final Four.
I'll start with, I said I had Michigan State winning it at the beginning of this. I don't have them winning it now, but I still have them getting there, you know.
No, I agree with that.
But no, I don't think Arkansas making it to the Final Four. I think Florida will figure it out by then. I think they handle Maryland pretty. I wouldn't say easily, but I think they handle Maryland by 5 points. But then I think they match up a little bit better with Arkansas. So
I think Arkansas could do it. I think they beat Florida, and they pull it off. They don't. I mean, they get to the Final Four. They get the Final Four banner, but that's as far as they're going to go.
I'm going to stick with my original pick and just hope Michigan State can find a way to become a first-half team.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know what it is about all my favorite teams being second-half teams, but I'm fucking tired of it.
Because they suck.
Can they be whole game teams maybe? Or just blow them out so bad in the first you don't got to play in the second?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sticking with Michigan State, Duke, but I'm clearly giving Duke the blowout win.
Yeah, I had the tiebreaker score at 95-90, but I think it actually might be higher than that.
I'm
That might
definitely
be a
saying
bigger
10,
deficit.
15 point deficit.
Yeah, I agree. I'm saying 10, 15 point deficit.
If you
as
put
well.
Cooper Flag on that big stage, I think he might erupt for 30 ball. He might go for 30, 40.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Cooper's going to go crazy. But
Yeah, especially with the minutes, giving him full minutes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. On unlimited time, yeah, he cooking. And he's going to be fresh for most of it because he hasn't really played.
So I guess the overall question, are you guys pleased right now, besides the no Cinderella teams making the deep run, but there have been a lot of close games, are you guys pleased right now with the way March Madness is going, men's and women's side? We'll go with you first, Mike.
I mean, it's not my favorite tournament, but it's still a good tournament. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. But it's not like one that I'm going to look back on and be like, yo, that was crazy. But it's exactly what the tournament is supposed to be. There's close games. It's the best teams, best 64 teams in the country. I can't really complain. I'll say 63 because UNC was supposed to be there. But
Facts. I can for once agree with you about a UNC topic. Kai, how do you feel about it?
No, yeah, like Mike said, it's been an okay tournament for me. I feel like all the memorable tournaments have had that one Cinderella team that kind of makes a run.
mm-hmm.
I guess you can count Arkansas as a Cinderella team if you really want to, but
I mean, yeah, they are 10 seeds, so I guess you could if you wanted to.
but it's been the big schools showing why they're the big schools.
Yep.
In my opinion.
The NIL deal, that NIL money going a long, long way in this
Sure is.
college basketball world. I think it's having more of an effect in college basketball than it did in college football. What do you guys think?
It's different in football because, I mean, you pay a couple guys NIL money, but you still need 11 guys working together. You get one or two superstar basketball players, they can do something. You just got to put little pieces around them. I was like, it's a lot different.
Kai?
Yeah, it's like he said, one person can make a huge difference in a basketball game. One person can't make that significant of a difference in a football game. So
I guess my next question for you guys is, do you think the NIL shake my damn head. Do you think the NIL is going to have a big effect in the college baseball and softball world? Because that one
I don't
could
know.
go both ways. You get a couple players, you get a great pitcher or two, you get a couple great hitters or something, maybe you can get something going.
Here's Kai. I do want to hear your take on this too. I'm very interested to hear. But here's my take why I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. The NIL money for baseball players is not that big of a deal because they were able to get drafted out of high school still. So they could go and just go directly into the pros and eventually get to that money. Now, of course, like we talked about before, being in the minor leagues is a grind. So for some people, it is beneficial to go to college, get a bag, and then go to the minor leagues. But I don't really see it making that big of an impact in college softball and baseball. I do think you'll see a couple people move, transfer here and there, but I don't think it's going to make that big of an impact, to be honest with you. Just because they can go directly to the league. They don't have to go to college at all. They can just go directly to the league.
What do you think?
yeah, I think the JUCO rolling will actually have more of an impact on college baseball and softball than NIL money.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I agree with that.
Which I can't wait to dive more into the JUCO aspect of both baseball while baseball season's going on, and then during the football special to talk about JUCO for football, because Kai had a couple great points for football, and Kai was a JUCO baseball player, so he got to experience
Yep.
what life
Bandit, baby.
what life was like there. Actually, Kai, while we got you here before we end the pod, go ahead and give a quick little insight into what the JUCO life was like while you were there, and it's changed a lot, I think, since you've even quit playing, but with the NILs and stuff. So, give a quick little insight.
Yeah, imagine a high school, and that's what you get,
Really? I was expecting, because I had no idea what a JUCO would even attempt to look like.
He said just high school.
He said just a glorified high school is what you're telling me.
We're practicing in gyms.
So y'all on the grind down in the JUCO world.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're there for a reason, you know. It's not because that's your dream school.
Is I guess my next question for you before we get off here. Is it a better route to take now than what it used to be?
Guaranteed, yes.
Why is that?
I'm curious about this.
Yeah, I actually recommend all my players go junior college just for the simple fact that you get cheaper schooling and you're playing, and that's the most important thing. A lot of guys, especially at the high school level nowadays, they go to a school for a name, and they end up sitting for 3 years of their career, wasting that eligibility and ultimately not reaching their full potential. JUCO, it gives you the opportunity to develop as a player, develop as a human before you start using your NCAA eligibility.
You know what?
That's a good point. I agree. Yeah, I like
you
that.
make great points. Honestly, I might have to talk to some of these young folks. It's crazy to call young folks like I'm old. I'm only like 26 out here.
Well, you're not even 30 yet, bro. What are you talking about?
It's crazy. So I be calling the old people at work.
Listen, I'm old.
I call every 30-year-old at work. I let them know you old.
I'm old as dirt.
Is that wrong of me? Probably.
Yeah, I'm old as hell. It's past my bedtime right now as we speak, actually.
But I'd like to say this was a great pod. I definitely enjoyed diving into March Madness with you guys because, I mean, we live, breathe, and sleep March Madness every year when it came on, and it only felt right to do a podcast during March Madness, if you ask me. It just felt natural.
Yep.
Had
my favorite event every year.
Had to happen. I appreciate you, Kai, for stopping by as always, being a part of the podcast, giving you great insight. Remember to like and share the pod and to check us out on YouTube and Spotify.
Yep. We should be up on Apple here soon, so give me like another week, but we should have the Apple stuff taken care of soon.
And like I said before, we have two specials in the works that are going to happen. Not even in the works. They are going to happen this time. And then we are open now to have live guests, so don't be surprised if you finally get to see Coach Kai make an appearance on the pod. If you see Gentry or the big homie on the pod, and if you want to make an appearance, we'll think about it. Send in, let us know. We got to make sure, because we can't just have you coming on here talking nonsense, you know? I'm going to just be real.
You got to go through a vetting process.
I'm not going to say it's going to be a vicious vetting process. But
submit a background check.
I need to know what your income is.
Blood type.
Yeah, I need that.
Credit score.
Right.
The bank statement.
Yeah, just
with nothing blanked out too.
Yeah, just drop off a bank statement and a background check. That's all we really need.
No, but we just gotta make sure you actually know your sports, because we take our sports serious up here. And if you come on here talking nonsense, we will have to flame you. And I don't want to have to hurt your feelings. I know they probably got no problem hurting your feelings on the pod, but me,
don't give a damn.
Me personally, I don't want to have to hurt you guys' feelings.
And I know Kai don't give a damn either. So
that's my favorite thing to do.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, we're more than welcome to have you on the pod, but make sure you come on here knowing your stuff, because if you don't, you will get called out and you will get put on blast for it. It's just, we gotta have you come on here talking the facts, because one thing you gotta remember is the stats don't lie here. We stay up on it. All right.
Mhm. Also, I told them I would do this, so let me give a special shout out to my LeBray softball girls going 2-0, starting the season. I told them I would shout them out, so y'all see it, y'all heard it, I did it. I told you I was going to do it.
Hey, while you were, quick shout out to the LeBray females basketball team too, only because I have a coworker who had 2 daughters on that team who they showed out this year.
Mm-hmm.
They were really impressive. I wish I could remember the names, and it's killing me right now that I can't, but shout out to them. They
was it sisters?
Yes.
It's probably Michaela.
Yeah, the Scrubs, I think. Yeah. Suggs, or however you say
it.
the
Yeah,
last
she's on
name.
the softball team too.
Yeah, no, their sisters were incredible this year, so hats off to them. They had a phenomenal year this year. We do still follow high school sports. We don't talk about it much on the pod because we try to keep it to the professional level, but we keep an eye. We are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Kai, anything you like to say before we go ahead and get off here?
No, I'm just hyped for opening day, man.
Yes.
Let's get it rolling.
What's that,
wait.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow, baby. It
Yes,
kicks
sir.
off tomorrow.
And
Let's go Guards.
Hey, I just want you to know, when baseball starts, I'm ready for it. I got the background and everything ready to go. Baseball just got to finally get going because right now it's boring.
Tomorrow. The
But
games
tomorrow-
count.
What opening day matchup are you looking forward to?
Well, of course, the Guardians. I'm looking forward to see what they got. Shane Bieber is not back yet, but I'm very excited for him to get back. I want to see what Tanner Bybee's going to look like this year.
Kai, what are you looking for from your Yankees? I know you all took some hits from the injury.
Yeah, I just hope that we have pitching. We're in trouble. We're in deep trouble. But I hope Rundown and Max Free can pitch the greatest years of their lives and make it back to the World Series.
Hey, all I'm hoping for, Boston have a winning year. Maybe come in third place, have a battle for second place.
You guys got the Rangers up first.
I'm not expecting no type of playoff run in my future. I want to just put that out there now. I am not one of those pipe dreamers that Boston going this year, this our year. No.
He said nah.
Let's just keep it real. We've been rebuilding since Petey and Ortiz and all them left. It's been rough.
Yep.
So other than that, just remember, stats don't lie, and we out.
We out.
Peace.